Wow. Oh, so who's he talking about? I can't wait to hear that guy speak, you know. What's wonderful about being at home is I never even spoke to Reverend Bob about any information at all. He has all that on record already, and I was like, wow, that's really good. He got everything down perfect. So it's wonderful. You know, before I begin, Patty, did you have a chance to see the online video too of the last Dharma talk I did here? Do you guys remember? I never revealed to you what was said off camera. We tricked you. There was nothing said. I told everybody to laugh out loud when they turned the camera back. Okay, so I never told them what I did until just now. So Patty, will you please help me set up my high-tech PowerPoint presentation? Very high-tech here, guys. Thank you so much, Patty. You can hear the scotch masking. There's scotch tape. We're masking tape. This is how high-tech it is. So. High-tech in the world of tech. I don't have an iPhone, so. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, gosh, Patty. Thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Sensei Patty. Does anybody have like gift cards lying around the house, like me? You get gift cards as gifts. Tell me everybody doesn't have a stack of Starbucks and Best Buy, and then when people give you ones like, oh, you would love Scott's Seafood, or not Scott's Seafood, like Roy's restaurant. There's no Roy's in Sacramento, right? You got to go to San Francisco, so we got a stack of them. So finally, we took it upon ourselves, and we were like, where do you want to go? Let's just go to, we had a Chili's one. And we won that at the, I think the Boy Scout Crab Feed, as a matter of fact. So we had a Chili's one, so we decided to go out to Chili's one evening. And we all went out there, and Ellie got the little kids menu, you know, on the little paper. And on it were some word jumbles, you know, word jumbles. And as always, you're trying to let your kid do it, then you're like, what is that? Let me see. Here, give me that. You know, you take it away from your poor kid who's like, Daddy, I want it, you know. And Janet and I started solving them. But it kind of got me thinking, and I thought it was a really fun little thing to do, and it's fun for us as adults to play these games. So take a moment, if you will, and take a look at my 3 word jumbles. This will be the first one right here. Can everybody see the high-tech presentation? Well, if you can't, you're not missing that much, so don't worry. So these are the 3 word jumbles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you, and don't say it out loud, don't be that one, don't be that person. Oh, I know what it is, and ruin it for the rest of the group, okay? But I'll let you work on that and stew on that for a moment, okay? And we'll revisit that in a little bit. Before I actually begin the talk, do you guys remember this quote from a movie? It's not that hard, but it goes like, I am not a smart man, but I know what love is. Why don't you love me, Jenny? You guys, everybody, who knows? Yeah, okay. A lot of hands didn't raise in the back. Life is like a box of chocolates. Now you know, right? Okay. If you don't know, you don't know. Okay. This is from one of my favorite movies, Forrest Gump. Why am I bringing up Forrest Gump? Reverend Bob even touched on this in one of his song articles, I believe, and he wrote about this. I bring up Forrest Gump today because today, as you all know, we are celebrating the birth of the historical Buddha. We're celebrating Siddhartha's birthday. And I bring up Forrest Gump because I feel that part of the Forrest Gump story is very similar to the Buddha's story. Do you remember that point in the movie Forrest Gump when he was sitting on his porch and then he just stood up and he started running? I started running. Do you remember? In the movie, and you're like, dude, where are you going? And he just started running, right? He had no particular reason or destination in his mind. He just went off and he was searching for something. And he just kept on going and didn't stop. And he kept on running until he hit one coast. Remember, he hit the ocean? And he goes, when I hit one ocean, I turned around and ran again, right? And he turned around and he just kept running again. Over time, people started to hear about, this great travel, and they began to start following him around in hopes of hearing some great wisdom or something, because this guy obviously is doing this for a reason, right? But he just kept running his steady pace and never said a word, right? And he ran for like weeks and weeks, I think. And more people started taking note. There were like news articles and radio shows. And then more people started to follow him. And more people were wondering who this guy was and what magical secrets Forrest held. They started to view him as some special person with some great purpose. Until one day, for no particular reason, he just stopped running. He just stopped in the middle of the road. The people that were following stopped and shh, everybody said, quiet, quiet, he's going to say something. And they were waiting anxiously, and they couldn't wait to hear what he was going to say. And he just stopped, and he turned around, and he said, I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now. Right? Isn't that what he said? I didn't really watch the movie again. This is what I remember. That's what he said. And they're like, what? And they were just like, what? The reason that particular part of the movie reminds me of the historical Buddha, because in some ways, this is kind of what the Buddha did. As you know, when he was born, April 8th, over 2,500 years ago, right after he was born, it was very sad because his mother, the queen, died very shortly after when he was born in Lumbini's garden. But he was raised in the palace with his father, the king, and lived a very luxurious life. When Siddhartha was young, there was a prophecy that said he had the great potential to become either a great warrior king or a great religious leader. Okay, there was this prophecy. So naturally, the king wanted his son to take over the throne and rule the kingdom just like he did, right? So he decided to shelter Siddhartha from any suffering or pain in his life, kept him hidden from everything, right? And he wanted to make his life in the palace so perfect and so appealing that he would never want any other way of life, right? Kind of like how Reverend Bob does for us here. It makes our life so good here, we don't want to be anything else but ministerial assistant. No. I will shelter you. There are no other job options. Okay. This way, though, by doing that, this is how he would ensure that his son would become king, just as he was, right? As the years went by, Siddhartha had everything that a person could ever want. He had the finest robes, the most delicious foods, a beautiful palace to live in, even servants to fulfill his every wish and need, a life that most people could only dream of having. And that was his life that he just lived every single day. But Siddhartha grew tired of such a life, and he began to have questions and wonder about the outside world. And this is where, for the first time, he saw a glimpse of the outside world. As he was riding out one day, he saw, and this is the story of the 4 gates, and I'll keep it real short, but the first thing he saw was an old person. He was so sheltered by his father, the king, that he had never seen an old person before. So he's all, hey, what's wrong with that guy? Nothing, young prince. He is merely old. Whoa, And then they kept going on to a different gate, and they saw, a sick person. And he's all, what is wrong with that man? Nothing, my prince. He's simply sick. Whoa, okay? I just made the whoa part up. Okay. And finally, not finally, but the third gate, because there are 4, the third gate, he sees a funeral procession, and he actually sees a corpse. And he's like, that guy's not old, and that guy's not sick. What happened to him? Nothing, young prince. It's completely natural. He just came to the end of his life, and he has passed on. He has passed away. That is a dead person. And this started to really shake him up, because he's all seeing all this stuff, and he had no idea any of this was out there. And finally, the 4th gate, he saw a spiritual man, a holy man. And that's what they told him, young prince, that is a spiritual man, a holy man. And that just kind of got his curiosity going. And this is where the Forrest Gump similarity, you're waiting for that. Okay, so then after seeing all these things and after having all these questions of life, finally at the age of 29, after his own child was born, at the age of 29, like Forrest Gump, he just got up. Maybe he didn't run, but he started walking, okay? And he said, I need to find the answers and the meaning of life. What is going on? This can't be it. This luxury, this palace, this can't be it. So he got up and he left the palace. He left the kingdom and he left all his material possessions in search of what life's meaning was, what life's secret was that it held for him. He lived the life of a poor ascetic monk, giving up everything, living off of just a begging bowl, searching for the truth. He was so dedicated to his practices that people began to follow him, just like they followed Forrest. When he left, he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know what he was going to do. And he started doing it, and people started following him. They were impressed by his discipline and dedication. And for 6 long years, he led this life, this very difficult and hard life of sacrificing, of meditating, of learning, studying, and searching. 6 years. He punished his body, he pushed his body, until one day, just like Forrest Gump, I'm sure he was just tired, you know. If he would have said it, I'm kind of tired now. I'm sure that's kind of what he said in some version. And he sat beneath the Bodhi tree, as we know. And he sat, and his weary body was so pushed that he just rested. He could take no more. And he rested and pondered the meaning of life and said, I'm not going to leave this tree until I get it. And just like that, as time went by, and he rested his body, and he rested his mind, and he slowed down, this is how the story goes. He found his enlightenment. And in discovering this enlightenment, discovering that I'm not going to find it by punishing myself or meditating for years and years and years. That's not how I'm going to discover it. I'm going to discover it by living a human life. At that time, he said, I need to nourish my body so I can remember this feeling, so I can feel this feeling and embrace it. And just like that, a young maiden came out with a bowl of rice porridge, and he ate the porridge and nourished his body, and his full enlightenment came into being. And the followers were like, oh, I thought you were the man. You fasted on a grain of rice a day. Man, you look at this guy. He's still a prince. He's eating. Look at him, man. He's weak. And a lot of people stopped following him. But like Forrest Gump, it was never his intention to get anybody to follow him or listen to him or preach to anybody. He was just searching for something for himself. And his search was so pure and so dedicated that people just followed. So after he ate, that's when his enlightenment came to him, and that is when he became the historical Buddha. Buddha means one who is awake. One who is awake. As Reverend Bob just said, there were many Buddhas, Anyone who becomes awakened and enlightened can become a Buddha too. Okay, so that's kind of how the story goes for the beginning of his life and how he became the Buddha. And after that, he spent the next decades of his life sharing what he had learned. So let us go back, because I know you guys didn't hear a word I said. You're just focusing on the word jumbles, right? Right? I know how it is. Now, this is the first one right here, Latrop, right? Did anybody figure out this one? Raise your hand. Oh, okay. Patrol, very good, but no. But it's positive reinforcement. No, we encourage. See, now nobody's going to raise their hand for the next one. No. Chat Jusege in the back. Okay. No, it is patrol. That is definitely one solution. What if I gave you a hint and said entrance? What if I gave you a hint? Entrance. Portal. Very good. Very good. What about El Dorado? Everybody thinks that, right? You can't help it, right? You just can't help it. El Dorado. Anybody figure that one out? What if I said severe experience? Did that hint just do it for you? Just like that? This is an impressive group because I sat there for days. And the last one. Oh, you got that one. Excellent. Packed. I was going to say vacuum. See, when you say it like that, a word comes after it, right? That's like the password hint. Okay, you guys did very, very well. I've tried this at other places. Now, wasn't it interesting that the moment I gave you a hint, something just clicked? Isn't it amazing? I know you were listening to me talk the whole time and you were fixated on every word, but you guys were working on these jumbles this whole time for a couple minutes, right? And I know there's got to be some people that were just obsessed with it. What is that word? And you were working on this jumble. You were working on it. And here's my thought on why some of these are so difficult. My thought is they're difficult because when we try to solve these, we bring with this our own personal experience, our own personal lives, and our own personal knowledge. We don't approach these jumbled words with completely clear minds. and clear thoughts. We approach them, oh, it's a puzzle, it's Koichi, it's got to be something funky or weird. We come in with a predisposition is what I'm saying. We come in with our past experience. And when I said El Dorado, everybody here saw El Dorado, correct? I mean, everybody, you can't help it. And you get so fixated on El Dorado, you can't see anything else. And the moment I said severe experience, I heard like 5, 6 people, ordeal, of course. And it's interesting because this exercise is very much, in my opinion, the way I look at it, it was very much the way Siddhartha was enlightened. A mixed jumble of gibberish, of meaningless letters together, all of a sudden with the right hint and the right state of mind, clarity, meaning, purpose, right? Just like that. Almost like magic. There's nothing magical about it, but almost like magic. And it's because we carry so much of our ego with us, so much of our own personal experience, that it's hard for us to find the solution. Because we're searching so hard that you can't find it. And when you relax and let it flow, bam, just like that it comes to you. Kind of neat, huh? Kind of neat. So again, he spent the next few decades sharing what he had learned about his enlightenment. And he was all, this is too simple. No one's even going to get it. We come from a country that fasts and meditates and does all this. No one's even going to get it. I'm sitting here saying, just let the force flow. Let yourself go. And the answers will come. No one's going to get it. But he stuck to it, and he just kept teaching, and he kept teaching. Whether the story of the Buddha is historical fact, exactly the way it happened, or whether it's a little bit of folklore, it doesn't matter. Because the Buddha did leave his home, leave his family, and left everything he knew in search of this truth. And he left everything that was safe to take this great risk to find something he didn't even know he was looking for. And after he was able to open his eyes and let go of his ego, he could see the answers. So it's very much just like these word puzzles. So I just want you to remember that story and remember that sometimes in life, when you're looking for that answer, we try so hard. Right now, everybody knows times are tough, right? Economic times are tough. And we're looking for solutions. We're looking for different ways out. Well, maybe let's try to make it a little bit easier on ourselves and not beat ourselves up too hard and just do our best and clear our minds and dare to dream, is what I say. Dare to take a chance and pursue what you know in your heart can exist. If you are unhappy and unfulfilled with where you are in life, then take that journey. Start moving. You don't have to always know exactly where you're going to go or how you're going to get there, but just pick a direction sometimes and just try. Because there's so much to explore and learn about the world and learn about yourself that there is no prophecy that we have that forces us to live a certain way, right? We don't have a prophecy that tells us what we're going to be. So with the simple adjustment of your mind and your inside of you, with a simple adjustment within you, you can see the whole world differently, just like these words. You can turn a jumble of nonsense into something meaningful. So in living human life, we will always encounter suffering and challenge. And the root of that suffering is desire. Okay, this is Siddhartha's teaching. But no matter how much you have, you always want something else. And the Buddha is not telling us to not want anything in life, for that is unrealistic and unhuman. But the Buddha simply says, open your eyes and make sure that you can see clearly all the actions that you take and all the decisions that you make. Only when you live a life of awareness can you see the world as it truly is and become one who is awake, just like Siddhartha. Will you please join me in closing Gassho? Let us not suffer and torture ourselves like Siddhartha did to find what we are searching for in life. Let us take a chance and make a change in our lives to make things better. The journey to enlightenment begins with a single step. So even if you aren't sure which way to go, just start walking. And if you keep your eyes open, you may discover something amazing that you didn't even realize you were searching for. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much. Thank you.